So just the analysis on the previous video that I shared about the sell that we were expecting on Nasdaq. If you haven't checked it out, just check my previous upload. I explained everything, but nevertheless, let's see what Nasdaq has in store for us for the upcoming week and see what we can possibly expect. Let me just remove this and start off the weekly time frame. As we are approaching a new week, let's just see what the previous week has done for us. Let me reset this. So yeah, so not much movement last week, as you can see. However, the following week you can see that the sellers were in control. So what I am expecting is for Nasdaq to approach this area right here, which we can define as support. Right, let's head down to the daily time frame and maybe we can redefine that. So on the daily time frame, we can see that Nasdaq has been heading towards the downside. Right, so we could either expect support on that weekly level that I drew, but if you zoom in, you can also see that we have a gap, which is the high of this candle and the low of this candle right here. All right, so this would be your gap. All right, let me just remove this, change the color, let's make it orange. So yeah, so that there's a gap that price needs to fill. So we could expect support from that level right there, or if price breaks through that level, we do have a support region from this last candle, which you can also use as a order block. Alright, so we could expect long-term buys. Let me just get this brush. Where's the brush? Yeah, so we could expect long-term buy from here or from this gap, or if price decides to push lower, we have this point right here for upside. All right, let's see how we can define this on lower time frames. I'm just going to keep these levels up just in case. Let's go down to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour, I'm just going to remove this weekly level right here. So yeah, so on the 4-hour we can see that Nasdaq is still in a downtrend. Right, however, we could look for possible sells. Price pushes up and then take our profits at the zone where we'll be looking for buys. All right, let me just see how we can define this. The gap right here, this is the 4-hour. So from that candle's low to that candle's high. All right, and obviously this last down close candle could also use as support, also known as order block. Right, and if you also look right underneath it, we have another gap that price needs to fill. We don't know when, but we just need to wait. That candle's low and that candle's high right there. Okay, let's just see how we can just make this nice. So this is, yeah, that's the daily down close candle. Let's just define that quickly or redefine it. make this straight. Where's this? Just make that neat and tidy. And yeah, let's just fix that zone. So from that high to that low, right there. Yep. So let's turn our focus from where we can sell. As you can see from this zone up here, price never retested. All right, from this upwards movement, price never retested this zone right here. As you can see, price went up and came back down towards this order block right here. All right, and then again you can see price came back up. And where did price drop to? If you look to the left, you can see that we have, let me use a line. This is an order block right here, from that candle's high to that candle's low. Right, you can see that price dropped straight into that false support, and then price moved back up. All right, but let's see what we can expect for next week. This is the 4-hour time frame. So we can see that price has broken this. This was the last lower high right here. Okay, you could use that one or you could use this one, it doesn't matter, but let's just use this one. Price broke out, okay, came back, and then price broke this low as well. All right, let me just center back. Center back, yeah, and then price went back up to close the gap. All right, if you zoom in here, you would see that from this candle's high to that candle's low, all right, there was a gap that price needed to fill. It would be there and there. All right, so you can see when price dropped to that support level that we marked, price went back up to close in that gap right there, and then price dropped. All right, as we can see, we also have a gap right here that price needs to fill, that candle's low and that candle's high, which we can use to sell. All right, let me remove this real quick. We'll head down on the 1-hour time frame and see how we can define it. 1 hour, yeah. So we see, so price needs to close in this gap right here. Obviously we have a lot of sell side liquidity that price needs to take out right beneath these lows right here. Okay, this low right here, there's a lot of liquidity that price needs to head towards. But nevertheless, let's see what you can expect. So you could expect price to head towards the downside, all right, and then head towards the upside. Let me just remove this. Why is this thing? Can I take off this? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so price could possibly head towards the downside first before heading up. All right, obviously the lower you go, the more volume you would see in price. All right, just see what we can identify here on the left side. All right, also see we have more gaps that price needs to fill. This candle's high right there. Let's take that. Yeah. So if price falls, we would know where to expect a buy. Alright. So we'll just mark out this one right here and drag this out. Like that. Let's just head down to the 15-minute and see how we can define this. So yeah. So as we can see, let me just remove this. When price went up to close that gap up there that I showed you earlier, price came back towards the downside to take out these lows right here. Alright. Take out the stops here. And then price found support at this order block right here. Alright. These three down candles right here. 1, 2, 3. Right, you could use the last one, right, but it's always good to use the last three down candles. Price found support at, and then head towards the upside. Right, so from here what I would be expecting is for price to take out these high right here, and then I would obviously look for buys when price retraces to whichever support I find right here. Alright, and then I would ride the price up to look for sell opportunities between this level right here. You can see that price still has to close in that gap, and you could also use the last up close candle. You could use as resistance for a sell opportunity. And obviously if you go on the 5-minute, you can define your risk and see that we do have a down close candle right here, which we can use. You could use this one as resistance. Let me just mark this out. Right, and you stop above the high right there, and then obviously you would take profit with wherever you feel comfortable with, or you could use this candle right here. Right, this last up close candle you could use as resistance for your sell, because we do have another last down close candle right here. Let's take this one for now, something like that. Obviously hide your stops above the high. Right, and then you take profit below. That's how you can redefine your entry on the 5-minute to minimize your risk. Right, let's just head back to the 1 hour to see. Yeah, so that would be my selling opportunities that I would expect or would want to take for NAS. Alright, and for the buying is the ones which I have marked out on the 4-hour and on the daily. Alright, so I would expect price to get here, and then I would take my buy from this level right here, or if price pushes lower, I would look at this level right here or if price pushes lower, I would look for this level right here, right? Then obviously as price moves lower, right, I would wait for a retest of whichever structure has broken for selling opportunities until these levels. So for instance, you would just use your basic market structure to sell until the levels where you want to buy from. Where is this? I'm struggling to find it. Oh yeah, there we go. So what I would then do, if I see price keeps on breaking structure towards the downside, I would just wait for price to break a low, and then obviously I would wait for a retest, right, to sell price again towards the downside. But price has to break a structure, right, and then you have to wait for a retest for further opportunities towards the downside, right? But that's only if price breaks structure as it heads towards the downside, right? But if price does the same thing towards the upside, then obviously you would do the same thing, alright? You wait for price to push higher, then wait for price to break previous structure, and once price heads towards the downside, you would look for some sort of support level to then buy, right? So yeah, that's what I'll be expecting, or I'll be looking for on Nasdaq for next week. So yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. No, I don't think so. But yeah, just I'll be eyeing these levels. So yeah, that's just my plan for the week and what I'll be looking for. But I hope this video was informative as usual, and until next time and until the next video, I hope everyone stays safe, have a blessed week, and